Free software means software that respects the user's freedom. There are 4 essential freedoms that the user of software should always have. Freedom 0 is the freedom to run the program however you wish.
Yo, podcast. Alright, that's the introduction.
Yo, podcast.
I'm Dymatic from the G Technology IRC channel, also formerly known as Black Joe.
I'm Uncle D. I'm also one of the co-owners of G Technology channel.
And I'm Xanthus, one of the co-owners and founder of the G Technology channel on Rising.
So we should probably talk about Shellshock, that being the biggest topic of the week. Freaking, it's not as big as Heartbleed was, but it can be quite bad. If you have something affected by it, you might as well. It's over. Have any of your servers gotten affected by it, or know any vulnerabilities? Because I've heard it's bad, but nothing's really popping up.
Honestly, it's not that bad. People are just overblowing it because they just want a new Heartbleed to talk about. All the tech blogs, they thrive on their clicks. But I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, for it to do anything, you would have to have PHP set up to call to bash for some reason and inject the malicious code into the server like that. I mean, when does PHP actually call to bash? I mean, I know it does it with the CGI, but still, I mean.
Yeah, it's frequently used in CGI, and cPanel, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, had a couple examples of that in their code, and it's something that a lot of servers had deployed. So anything that is running cPanel is by proxy of the CGI technique affected by Shellshock. Thanks to cPanel, I think they say 2.5% of the internet runs cPanel. Is just the statistic I heard on the first day that all this news dropped.
Well, a lot of shared web hosting uses cPanel.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's interesting.
That's a vulnerability you don't want.
See, the way I understand Shellshock is that it lets you, by using an environment variable, execute an arbitrary command.
That's really dangerous.
You would need to. Yes, it is dangerous, but you would need to know how that server is set up to do any real damage with it.
Yeah, but Linux systems in general will have pretty much the same setup. So if you can exploit some environment variable on one, you can exploit it on any of them. So we might as well talk about the Apt vulnerability that was found out this week. And actually, I bet the dude that was there before would actually been hella interested in that, because he was talking about aptitude and stuff. But it was a big thing found in Apt, wasn't it? It was something with
I'm not really familiar with this one. What happened?
The package manager on Debian-based distros, so that's Debian and Ubuntu and all that, the whole family, basically half of the Linux tree, had a vulnerability that if you were downloading a package but not installing it, it wouldn't check it against the checksum, so altered packages could be downloaded without knowing. And the reason that's a big deal is because anybody can host a repository, so you can host a bunch of just corrupted packages, and you wouldn't have any way of knowing because Apt wouldn't check.
Wow, that is a pretty big flaw.
Mm-hmm. Patched instantly though, just like the bash vulnerability was. Actually, not a bad week for the security peeps over Linux.
Yeah, I just find it funny that it went for 11 years. This vulnerability was there for Shellshock.
Really? I didn't know that.
I mean,
yeah.
It's honestly, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I would say it's pretty big if you can arbitrarily run commands, if you know how to exploit it.
It's a big deal if you use bad programming practices.
Right. If you use bad programming practices, it's like somebody sets you down in front of a computer with a root terminal open and says, "Oh, here you go." So
pretty
the
much.
Same thing. Why is I'm just looking at the Pirate Pad here. Why is C# version 6 crossed out? Does nobody know anything about that?
I did a strike through that earlier.
It's not
Xanthus
C#
has kind of a bias against anything Windows, so that's probably why.
C# isn't even Windows. Mine's really good.
No, I was testing the straight through.
Sure.
You crossed out my Netflix too.
Yeah, I remember.
Probably another test.
Spoilers for like 7 minutes, or we're going to be talking on Netflix at some point. But yeah, I have zero clue what C# 6 does differently than C# 5. All I know is if it's another Visual Basic 6, do not sign me up. Microsoft products that start with 6, no bueno, usually.
What was 6.0 was which Windows version?
Vista.
Vista. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
They don't
All in
track
all,
record with X.
Vista wasn't a bad OS. It was just brought up at a time where the minimum specs were wrong.
I think that Windows Vista or Vista.
Nice hipster.
Vista. It was just so unoptimized. I mean, Windows 7 is Windows Vista, just a better version of it, or Vista, however you want to say it.
Yeah, it's a better version. Plus, they have more stringent minimum requirements.
I can see where all the Windows kind of went. How Vista was a modernization of XP, and then 7 was refinement on top of what the cluster fuck that Vista turned out to be. But then they threw all that out with Windows 8. So, what will Windows 9 be? Will that be a redefinition or
Probably.
a refinement of it, or I don't know?
Yeah, a refinement.
I hope it's a refinement.
Because if you notice with a lot of things, it's always a new, completely new, and then a refinement of that new, and then a completely new refinement of that completely new.
I've actually gotten a bit tired of using Linux, to be quite honest. I would switch to Windows if, only two things for right now are keeping me on Linux, and that's piling window managers and package managers. If Windows did either of those things sanely, I would probably switch.
You can use Atomic Window Manager on Windows.
Oh, there's half of it.
Bug.n, I think it's called.
And I guess there are a couple other things, but it's not as bad of an OS as people sometimes crack it up to be, especially the Linux folk.
Well, I feel it's a lot. Fuck.
As an OS, it's shitty, but the products on top of it are very nice. I would love Visual Studio.
Jesus.
What? You can't use Emacs. You can use Emacs, but once you start getting into like the thousands of files ranges for a project, you're not gonna not be able to use Visual Studio. It's an inevitability. Am I still talking?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I screwed up, and that's hard to explain.
Okay. So C# version 6. Is anybody ever gonna explain that? That's how we got on this tirade.
Probably not. New C# is coming out.
It's coming out.
Will come out. I don't know, but it's soon. Or
I'm assuming that Uncle D wrote that in.
I did.
Oh,
I
you
didn't
wrote
write that in.
So you added that? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I read the article and none of it sunk in. It's really theoretical stuff that they added to C#. They took a couple things from F# over, which is nice. F# like the C# testing bed at this point. So I think it had something to do with typing. I'm not exactly positive. I actually like F#. It's like OCaml for Windows. Uncle, have you ever used F# for anything?
I have not. I have not even touched F# before.
And now there's like offshoots of it, like M# and everything. The whole ecosystem. But yeah, let's get off C# since nobody knows jack squat about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find somewhere that explains it all, but there's no concise source.
It's super boring anyway. It's like really heavy stuff that they added. It's nothing that is going to change the way you write it, probably. But it's big changing improvement did come out this week for Chrome OS, or 2 weeks. That you can now run Android applications on it without anything special. It just runs right in the browser.
Oh yeah, I read about that. And then, going off that, some guy wrote a plugin for Chrome, the browser, to allow you to run Android apps in that.
Yeah, and that both those things are huge. I don't know how people aren't flipping their shit about it.
I think it's a good thing for Chrome OS because honestly, it's such a niche operating system right now. Like, at least this will give it more programs to run, you know?
I would say niche, because I went over to somebody's house that is absolutely non-technical. Doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to computers, but they had a Chromebook just because Google marketed them right and they're cheap. So
Like-
I guess with technical people, yeah, not a huge contender, but for the non-technical, it's king, and this will only help that.
Well, I don't know anyone personally that has a Chromebook.
Same. Honestly, like, to have a Chromebook, you need to, first, you just use Google, like, predominantly for about everything. It's like a cloud-based operating system. Second, you would always need access to the internet, or your laptop is crippled. And like, I don't think. I mean, obviously there's people that fall into that category, but I don't see the majority of people wanting something like that, at least right now. But I mean, you never know.
I definitely wouldn't, but for the price the Chromebooks are, I think I would put up with it. Especially when you can just install Linux on it anyway. It's a real laptop once you do that.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing is that the hard drive is small.
It's like, what, 250 gigabytes or something? I don't know.
Most Chromebooks have 8 or
Wow.
60. Yeah, it's like a phone.
Yeah.
It's pretty disgusting, honestly.
Well, I don't even use a gigabyte of home storage, I don't think. You don't need too much storage on a computer. At least I don't.
I'm using about 350 gigs.
Oh my god.
I have a good amount. I would need to check. But on my T400, I have a terabyte hard drive and then a 320 gigabyte hard drive. Because I like having a lot of space.
Yeah. But then if I look at my server, it's using a little more than 1 terabyte.
Joel Lixney, I'm guessing anime? Joel Lixney says in the text chat I'm using 4.3 terabytes somehow, which is more storage than all the storage I have combined in my household at the moment.
Well, if we're going to storage, I got like 6 terabytes.
Storage or usage?
Usage, I'm probably at 3.
Okay.
I have 120 gigabytes in this desktop right now, but that's solid state.
Yeah. I have a 500 gigabyte solid state in my desktop.
Jesus Christ. That's a lot.
And then I
solid
have
state.
about 12 terabytes of hard drive storage.
How is solid state on Windows, by the way? I know we're getting off of any topic that we have in the Pirate Pad, but I've wondered that because I know on Linux, at least for installing packages, you can absolutely tell the difference. But how is it on Windows where things are generally slower? Noticeable?
I think if you're playing games, you'll see the
Anything
difference.
that has to do with read-write and not loading directly to memory is significantly faster using an SSD.
Yeah, I don't think I could comfortably go back to hard drive. It's made me a total snob of read-write speed.
Yeah.
I'm not fortunate enough to have an SSD, so I guess I'm a loser.
One day.
Yes.
One day,
One day.
Xanthus.
They're not too expensive anymore.
They're
They don't
not.
die as much as they used to.
They're not, but like, honestly, I'd rather just have another 3 terabyte hard drive.
I remember the best thing I ever did was my uncle actually recommended to me that I should buy a hard drive, and I did for $70 right before the great hard drive apocalypse of 2012. And
Was that
ended up getting
2012?
Yeah.
Yes, because that's when I built my computer.
No,
Oh,
2012.
It was 2011. It happened in
Wait.
2011, and then it continued to 2012. The prices.
Yeah. 2012 was one of my favorite years for technology, actually, especially for Linux world. We got a lot of stuff. That's when I think Steam was announced, and we got a bunch of different drivers. It was just lovely. We should probably get back on a topic here. I know.
So I
Simon has kind of
found a
threw us
list
for a loop.
of C# editions, and actually one of them does sound pretty nice. So
It's
it
like-
looks like one of the probable additions is multiple return values from a function.
Is that not just a tuple, or does C# not have tuples?
So it looks like not actually returning just one object, a tuple, whatever, but multiple objects at the same time.
That's kind of confusing, honestly. I mean, how would you, if it's not in one data structure, how do you extract that? Is there special syntax for?
I think so, yeah.
I could definitely see that being useful, especially if you don't have to create a tuple which would use memory and all these other resources, I guess.
Yeah.
You'd have to do really specific things where that's more optimized, though.
But other than that, I don't see many significant improvements that are interesting.
That's something straight out of the functional world, because Lisp has had multiple return values for like 40 years now. But it's a feature that nobody even uses in that language, so that speaks volumes for how much you'll see it in C#.
Yeah.
Probably forgotten about. There are some languages have interesting features that people forget are in the language. Can't think of any solid examples. I could think of Java having goto, but that's a reserved keyword that actually does nothing. It's like an Easter egg.
Yeah, and goto's just horrible practice.
Horrible practice, but you need them in some cases.
Yeah.
For low level, you need to break out of deeply nested loops, which I guess you shouldn't have in the first place.
Yep.
But for certain algorithms, or assembly, obviously, then go to your heart's content.
Yeah. Also timeouts.
Timeouts. Is that
bad
for threading?
For for any type of communication, you shouldn't just use timeouts.
What to use in lieu of that? Is that what the heartbeat is supposed to replace? Sweet. Good dog. I guess we shouldn't get too deep into programming stuff, just for any listener's sake. We'll talk about some consumer shit with
consumer stuff.
Speaking of consumerism,
you see what I'm trying to do here.
Bendgate.
Bendgate. Here we go. It's like Bender's wet dream.
Or bendghazi.
Jesus. No. Just no.
But yeah, so I saw that same guy who posted that first video that started this whole internet craze, he posted another video. I think it was today or yesterday. And it's actually a lot more convincing of there actually being an issue.
I haven't seen any of the videos of it. I think I missed bendgate. I know what it is. It's just the iPhone 6 Plus bending in your pocket, right?
Yeah, it's basically, it doesn't take that much force to bend the phone and keep it bent.
Oh, I'd be so pissed if I dropped however much money on one of those things that it is, and then I break it out of my pocket and it's like a donut.
It's not that bad, but it is noticeable.
It's pretty bad. I mean, I tried to bend my Nexus 5, and it hardly bent.
Yeah.
Try to bend it.
How did I bend it?
Like, why'd you try to?
Oh, just because I wanted to see how good it would be.
I have a Samsung Galaxy S3, and that's the most indestructible thing I own. I've dropped it into a lake, quite literally, and thrown it against the wall by accident, and thrown it across the room, also on accident, and it's still just fine. Keeps chugging. Battery life actually increased after it was in the lake. The whole lake incident sucked. I walked into a lake with a wallet and phone in my pocket. It was dead. The phone was dead for 2 weeks and just bounced back.
Why did you walk into the lake?
I was fishing, and my fishing hook caught a log, and I wanted to go unhook it because I didn't have another hook.
Ah, okay.
Why didn't you take out your phone?
Just country things. And I forgot I had both those things in my pocket. I never got the hook back either, so the people I was with, we just went and burnt stuff down, but that's beside the point. What the hell is, by the way, what the hell is Windows TH9?
Alright, so that's, so it's either TH or 9, the new name for the new Windows.
Okay, it was news on that release.
TH, probably in reference to Threshold.
So that'll be a working name.
Yeah, so Threshold is their internal code name right now for the next iteration of Windows. And I guess in one of their dev documents that got leaked, they reference Windows TH.
You know they deliberately leak some of that stuff to get media attention.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Like freaking Kim Kardashian.
I mean, no, we don't. We don't do that.
Shut up. I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I love new iterations of Windows, even though I don't use it. I just get weirdly excited for some reason. I feel like it's the next stage in the computer market, since so many people do use it.
like the next standard.
Yeah. You start to see transformer laptops, at least we did with Windows 8. Like, all the new hardware adapts to the Windows. It's nice. Kubuntu actually, for the transformer laptops that are tablets and desktops because of Windows 8, actually handles it pretty nicely since there's a Plasma active.
I haven't used KDE in such a long time. Is it better?
It's the dicks. I love it. Especially the KDE 5, the next iteration, is just going to be fantastic. They're not making the same mistake they did with KDE 4, where they just think, is this good? Let's launch it and see what people think. It's actually well thought out.
I'm excited with them.
Netflix strike through. So I guess
so here on the notes, Netflix is strike through. So
no more Netflix. Netflix is apparently closing down for good.
Really?
Not really. No.
Oh,
I was like,
you
what?
got me there. I was like, what?
Oh my god!
You're the one who wrote Netflix, so I don't know what you're thinking about that.
Everybody in the world just would collectively flip a shit if Netflix decided to close down. But no, Netflix is coming to Linux. Is the whole point I wanted to make there. The Netflix developers are actually working with Canonical developers to get official Netflix packages into Ubuntu, so you no longer have to use a user agent string switcher to watch Netflix on Linux, which is lovely. I can't wait to watch my freaking Doctor Who without having to pretend I'm on XP still.
You couldn't watch Netflix from a Linux machine?
You could. You had before this month, you couldn't without using an emulator. And even now that you can, since it's HTML5, you still had to use a user agent string switcher for liability purposes and pretend you're on Windows.
Yep.
Okay. That sucks.
Basically, before it was even HTML5, when it was using Silverlight, people would build like a custom version of Wine.
That was crazy.
and it would just have Firefox in it, and it was like a Firefox with modifications to just be kind of like a single window, and it would just be like a Netflix app running in Wine. It was pretty ridiculous.
Santas, do you know what XDG Open is?
Yes, I do know.
It thinks that Internet Explorer is my default browser.
That's probably because of Wine.
Yeah. So when I open a link in G Technology, it opens up in Internet Explorer 6.
You should fix that. You can just change that. It's not hard.
I'm too lazy. I just copy links and open Firefox and paste that bastard in. I want to use Google Chrome so bad, but there's an extension keeping me on Firefox.
What extension and what terminal do you use?
The extension in question is a translating thing. You just double click and it translates a word. It's awesome. And XFC for terminal.
Seriously?
I know. I bet you use URXVT with that kind of attitude.
Yes, I do.
Yep. Could have guessed it. I used to, but I got tired of the buffer. I know this is the buffer to copy and paste. I don't like having... You shouldn't have to... If a program in 2014 doesn't have copying and pasting available to it, it's like, we'll even try level.
Jesus. There's copy and paste built into X. Just use it.
No, that's using the buffer, though.
Yeah.
And I have a decent amount of scripts that rely on text being in the clipboard, so it just didn't suit my workflow. Also, I like clickable links.
Well, you RxVT has clickable links.
Does it have embedded image opening?
So like the picture embeds into the terminal?
Yeah.
No.
I love that. Okay. XFC for terminal doesn't have that, but that's the one thing I missed from terminology.
I was about to say that terminology has that.
Terminology's actually done now. It has full color support and everything. The only problem is, I don't know, I think it has to load the enlightenment libraries every time you launch it.
Yeah.
And that can be a long process.
Terminology is actually my favorite non-URXVT terminal, but it just has so many... When you install it, it just pulls so much shit. It's not worth it.
Those libraries are small, though. It's a lot of packages, but codebase-wise and size on the disk, pretty small.
Yeah, I just wish
it was
standalone.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? They developed the whole ecosystem separate from everybody else, they're gonna probably use it for the time being.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready to move into the pretty big topic for this podcast, which is gaming?
Sure.
All right. Has anybody here played Destiny? Just getting that out of the way.
I haven't. I'm not even interested in it.
Oh, wow. You guys must hate fun.
I just...
It looked like a shitty Halo. That's what it looked like to me when I saw the trailers. I don't know. I hope it's good.
It's a fun Halo.
It's pretty much Halo 2.0.
That's what it looked like.
With double jump and super abilities and unbalanced AS multiplayer. I think Halo had a storyline too, which this seems to lack. But otherwise, a very fun game. Well, they promised Activision to stretch it out over a 10-year period, the franchise as a whole, not this game in particular. So they held back with the storyline to an extent where it's just so dull that there's not very much to say throughout the game.
Kind of disappointing. I was hoping the story would at least be good.
Well, yes, but it seems the story is good because you fill in the gaps. They
probably designed the story to last one game, but then they're like, "Oh, we need this to last 10 years. Let's snip it up."
That's honestly what it seems like. And the main character of the game, which is your companion, it's not even you because you have two speaking lines throughout the whole game. Peter Dinklage from Walking Dead, or Game of Thrones rather, voices him. Deliberately has a very monotone voice and not an exciting personality, so the voice acting isn't there either. But that's a deliberate direction they took.
Huh. That's horrible, since Peter Dinklage has a very whimsical voice. You know, like he's a good kind
whimsical.
Like I can't think of a word. Just like he's good at making a sarcastic kind of voice. I guess that'd be the word to say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
I like him. He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like Game of Thrones.
I'm excited for the new season. I haven't read the books.
I've read the books. They're better.
Yeah, I figured that.
RPG watch and paint dry, it's addicting. But as a game, not the most fun. Or well put together. Not a fan of it.
Okay.
So what is this on the notes? Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, is that a new Call of Duty or?
Yeah, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
It's a Call of Duty coming out in November, and the one interesting thing that I took from Destiny that's a really interesting topic is the movement in it. It has double jump, hell, in some cases it has triple jump, sprinting, and all these weird movement mechanics in it. And so does the new Call of Duty. Titanfall did. It seems like that's the new direction for video games, to have this crazy, like, Doom-esque movement. So do you guys think that's going to come back? Like, the Doom era of
running around?
Movement in 3D
I think they're moving away from the more realistic walking style because humans inherently don't move very fast. So it's not very exciting. So I think they're moving towards a more faster-paced type of gameplay.
So is it like, I don't know if you guys ever played Warframe. Is it like that?
Never played it. Couldn't say.
I've never heard of it.
Okay.
If you played Zonotic or Open Arena, it's like that.
Oh, okay.
Where it's just like off the walls, like freaking a million miles an hour and wall running and stuff.
Yeah.
But the only problem with that is if people get used to that, having all those movement mechanics, how can storylines adapt to it, is what I was wondering. Because everything would either have to be futuristic or magical, and obviously 75% of the games aren't.
I guess we'll find out with Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, but that's futuristic. I don't know if they can milk that forever as a franchise. They might have to.
They managed to milk freaking the Middle East forever.
They did.
Honestly, I'm just going to go on record here and say I hate Call of Duty.
I want to go on record and say it's my favorite game. But I'm a teenager from America. How am I not going to enjoy it?
I played the single player just because I wanted to. But
okay, World at War was a good game. But that's it.
I remember World at War.
I did like World at War. No, it's 5.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Call of Duty 3 was the worst, one of the worst of the franchise.
Was it the paratrooper one?
I'm not sure. I started at 4.
Okay. Well, World at War was a good game. But as a whole, I really hate Call of Duty. It's a cancer on the gaming industry.
I like it for the multiplayer. I feel like the multiplayer balance is the best out of any game, any first-person shooter at least that I've ever played. The time to kill another player is perfect. It's a nice match between luck, stealth, and just pure skill. So if a skilled person can't just roll over the enemy team and make it unfun for everybody, it's just really balanced. Nice to play as a casual game. Better than Halo. I'm going to say that. Put that on the record.
Wow.
No, it's not. No, it's
wow.
not.
Shots fired.
I hate
not
Halo.
Are you serious?
Halo 2
How could you
multiplayer
like
lockout.
Destiny and not like Halo? What the fuck?
Halo doesn't have the same... I only like Destiny for its movement mechanics, really.
Oh, okay.
And for the pistols. But Halo does have really good pistols. I'm
Oh,
strangely
God.
obsessed
The
with
pistol
pistols.
from Halo 1 was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was a handheld sniper.
Pretty much.
I love Halo.
And then we were
like
all
in the
so
direction
pissed
it's
off in Halo 2 when they nerfed it.
Yeah, those
It came
bullshit.
back a little bit in ODST. I
Yeah.
didn't play it, so I don't really know.
But
I
then
heard-
they did the battle rifle in Halo 2 with the double shot, and that was good.
The DMR is basically the new Halo 1 pistol, and that's an assault rifle. In Halo, it's all balanced, so everything's doing equal damage, really. Except for the goddamn assault rifles. I hate the assault rifle noobs.
I just wish Bungie still had the rights to Halo. I don't like.
243 did a good job, I think, with the campaign.
I don't like the direction of Halo now. Halo 4 sucked.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
I'll second that.
I was playing. It's like I was playing a shitty Call of Duty.
I like,
And that's saying a lot.
yeah, I like the power weapons being on the map, or any weapons. That's part of the Halo franchise. I don't see why 343 would have scrapped that.
Because they wanted it to be more like, a realistic shooter. Like the type that were selling millions.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, really, it's for competitive play, which is huge in the Call of Duty realm. But they ended up just shooting themselves in the foot because the competitive market moved away from Halo years ago.
Alright guys, am I the only one who got disconnected from the pirate pad?
No,
What?
if you have another one open, it'll do that.
I don't even have it open. It says I'm getting a server not found error.
Oh, I'm still
Well.
connected.
As long as you have the text, I guess it's all good. Or you can refresh the page. Maybe timed out.
Oh yeah, it's back. Okay.
Who was talking about using timeouts? Because
I
somebody-
was talking about it.
apparently somebody doesn't agree with you. I think it's good practice. I deliberately use bad programming practices sometimes. It's so hard not to.
What a nice thing to convince in front of all these people.
I love bad programming practices.
I mean, it's sometimes it's just so much easier. I was submitting code to the Rust compiler at one point, and I said, "Well, they basically said, yeah, your commit's good, but you turned off all compiler warnings, so we cannot merge this." And I did because it was my code was so bad that the compiler was just like throwing flag after flag about not surrounding exception throwing code in try blocks. So I just turned that flag off with the compiler. They were not happy. They like their warnings.
If I was accepting that code, I would not be happy either.
Yeah, I guess it exists for a reason. But we've somehow moved back up the tree of freaking topics into the technical.
Meh, we'll
Some,
jump back and forth anyways.
Yeah, nothing has to be horribly linear.
Yeah.
I always try to look for non-abrupt,
Go on.
like non-abrupt transitions between stuff. But I had no clue how I was going to get from Halo to Mojang buying Microsoft
Yeah, I don't.
stealthily.
But
Yeah, just say like,
Like,
so you guys hear about Microsoft buying Mojang?
speaking of killing 2.5 billion covenants, 2.5 billion. Microsoft or Mojang. I screwed it up even when I was pretending to screw it up. But yeah, Mojang is now officially Microsoft.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one.
No?
No, well, $2.5 billion is a lot of money.
It is. It's a shitload. It's
Not
but
for
still,
Microsoft, but it's a lot of money.
It pales in comparison to what WhatsApp was bought for.
Yeah.
Oh, 17 billion, right? Wait, that's not right.
Nah.
It was 17 million, maybe.
Yeah.
It was 100 billion. That's why
I think they bought it for the users and not the actual game.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely, because that's
a
game with longevity.
Does anybody know what's happening with Craft Bucket? Like, is there any news? What's going on with that? Or does anybody know?
No idea. I'm out of the Minecraft world.
Uncle D?
I'm looking now. So there was actually a post recently. Let me read up on that. You guys talk about something else.
Okay, well, I'm just going to explain it to, like, the listeners. Basically, Craft Bucket, well, people are saying because Mojang was bought off by Microsoft that, the Mojang, like, kind of, like, tightened their control with Craft Bucket, which they secretly had bought out a while back without announcing it to everyone. And they basically told the community that their code was, the code they wrote was theirs now. And, it was just a mess. And apparently, one of the contributors who had been, some GPL code, he said that they were violating his license because they were not sharing their code with, you know how the GPL works. And it's just a big mess.
Which GPL was that?
It was GPL version 3.
Yeah. That's the heaviest, the commonest ass one.
Yep.
Even I'm against GPL 3. But I prefer BSD licenses. Really? Yeah. I'm a BSD licensed person. I use BSD everything.
I use FreeBSD. It's my favorite operating system, but I love the GPL.
If I were to use GPL, it would be GPL 2. GPL 3 takes it to too far of an extent.
I think for certain things, it's necessary.
I think GPL 3 makes certain exceptions for extremely low-level things, and that's one of the main reasons it was developed. Because I remember it coming out about the same time as Secure Boot was announced, and hearing something having GPL to do with Secure Boot. I don't know.
Well, GPL 3 was created mostly because of what Richard Stallman called.
Well, I meant GPL 3 specifically, but yeah, GPL was Richard Stallman trying to.
No, I meant like GPL version 3 was created because of Tivization. What he calls Tivization. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
No.
But basically, what it is okay, like TiVo. Do you guys remember TiVo?
Oh yeah, I used to have one. It was pretty awesome. It had the little boop boop when you fast forwarded.
Yeah. So basically, what TiVo was doing was taking Linux and they're putting it on their TiVo DVRs. And what they were doing was, okay, they were releasing the source code of their modified Linux kernel, and they were modifying the GNU or utilities and stuff, GNU software. They were releasing the source code, but the hardware for their DVRs was made in a way that any modified versions of their source code would not run.
That's actually pretty smart from TiVo's perspective.
Yeah, so that's why Richard Stallman created the GPL version 3. Because that put a clause in there that you cannot do that.
He's right in doing that for what he believes in, but still, I think that's just my beliefs a bit too far. If the software remains free, it doesn't matter what a company is trying to sell it on. They're trying to get lock-in. And then
that's the thing. Like he saw it as closing like a loophole, but a lot of people didn't. Like Linus Torvalds.
I don't think it's a loophole because you can code that loophole right out.
How would
if you really wanted to?
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. That's how he saw it. But yeah, I forgot why we were talking about this. Oh yeah, because Mojang.
Craft Bucket.
Yeah, Craft Bucket. Mojang.
Which has really interesting implications of itself. Minecraft being bought by Mojang, especially for Minecraft on Linux and the decentralized nature of Minecraft. Because usually Microsoft is the kind of company that likes to have what we were talking about a couple weeks ago with the monolithic, we are, the hard and fast standard for this. But then Minecraft, it's it's the most fragmented game out there probably, with all these different servers running different versions of Minecraft and third-party Minecraft servers. And I think Microsoft's going to try to close some of that down, restrict it a bit.
I can see them doing that. One of the weird things, what I found weird about that whole situation is people were licensing the decompiled Mojang server code under the GPL.
Can't do it.
But they were doing that.
You can physically do it, but you can't legally do it.
Yeah, and that's where some of the legal because Mojang would in turn, since they own CraftBucket, and CraftBucket had that decompiled source code in it. They were acknowledging it under the GPL, and that's where it just kind of got fuzzy because they were the owners, acknowledging them under the GPL, and that's really where the heart of the situation lies in the disagreements of the legality of what's going on. But
Java's really easy to decompile it, so the reality of it is it's going to get decompiled by somebody.
Yeah,
and it turns into pretty nice code too. You decompile a C assembly or a C++ assembly, for instance, you're going to get gibberish back because of mangling of identifiers and whatnot. You decompile Java, you get Java, exactly what was written.
Yeah, because Java's loaded up into the Java engine, so that what you actually have is not compiled into the actual machine code, but just into Java, so then the Java interpreter will handle it.
Right.
Unlike C++, where it has to go all the way down to machine code, and then,
Java's actually a really interesting language from a design perspective. It's kind of futuristic when you think about it. Imagine telling somebody, Donald Knuth or something in the 70s, oh yeah, most programs in the future are going to be written on a virtual machine that interacts with its host environment. And it's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah. But anyway, so the current status of Bucket, it looks like they are still doing some work, but now they've made some changes to how they actually accept plugins and stuff like that. And it is technically illegal right now to distribute CraftBucket at all.
Price.
That sucks.
Well, I'm done playing Minecraft, I think. And not because of this. I've been culminating on quitting Minecraft for a couple of years now. But this definitely put the nail in the coffin for me.
I want to play a game like Minecraft. A game like a community kind of game. Honestly, I was never really a big fan of Minecraft. I just enjoyed playing with my friends,
Yeah, that's the aspect I liked as well.
Yeah.
But when the friend I play with stopped playing, so I've been kind of tapering off on it, and then this happened, I was just done.
Yeah.
My test is not bad. The is it C or C++? I think it's C++. Clone of Minecraft is not too bad from an engine perspective, but it's very bare bones. You need a lot of mods to make it playable. At least that has a modding API. Minecraft still doesn't have one.
True.
Hopefully Microsoft can add one.
Probably. Well, Mojang was trying to make CraftBucket their API.
Yeah, didn't they acquire it or something?
Yeah.
Right before. Yeah.
But then all this
they've had it
shit
for a while,
happened.
but it wasn't public that they owned it.
It became public slightly before this announcement. I guess it became public for this announcement. Minecraft as a game, though, is the second most successful game ever in history. First being Tetris.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you saying that before.
Mm-hmm. I think that might have been on Podcast Zero, though.
Yeah, Podcast Zero that the listeners will never hear.
Well, if Teknikast actually gets viewers, we might be hanging over their heads like that freaking Allstate commercial where he's like, "Oh, I got you $1," but it'll be, "Oh, hi, Podcast Zero." Can't listen to it. We'll just say it was the greatest thing since freaking sliced bread.
I never understood that because sliced bread isn't that good among itself. Yeah. Out of
better than-
everything that was good, why sliced bread? It's not that big of a leap from loaf of bread to sliced bread.
I think it's because it enabled like
Toast.
even just like sandwich, like the convenience of a cold
I call bullshit
sandwich. I'm
because
just saying.
sandwiches were like from the 1700s. I think it's because of toast.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Well, I don't have issues slicing bread.
By the way, for the listeners, Bill Lixney in the text asked if any of us have ever tried to slice bread.
No, I hired somebody to do it. How the hell do you think I fucking slice my bread?
You have a butler, a bread slicer.
Yes.
So
this is in
Google
this is
and
where we start.
Yeah, Google and Apple actually have. We'll start with Apple pushing that their new iPhone has new encryption that makes it almost impossible for the FBI to get into your phone to see your personal data. And the FBI commissioner, or whatever his name is, threw a fit about it.
Yeah, that's gonna be the pedophile's phone of choice.
Yep, his exact words.
You're kidding, right?
Did he really say that?
Yeah, let me find the exact quote.
We'll also edit the like research timeout. I would talk and drink water like a goddamn whale.
All right, so Chief of Detectives. Sorry, this was Chicago's police department. Chief of Detective John Escalante said Apple will become the phone of choice for the pedophile. The average pedophile at this point is probably thinking, "I've got to get an Apple phone."
Like Android could be encrypted.
Yeah.
And plus, if you're looking up freaking kids, you're gonna be smart about it. Get on Linux, get on Tor. You know, pedophiles usually aren't the dumb type. I don't know why I'm complimenting pedos. That's weird. My neighbor's actually a pedophile. Did I talk about him?
No. Go on.
I used to, he was in jail for 7 years, but then when he got out of jail, he had the brilliant idea of buying a house next to the stream. So, like, in the summer, all of us would just, like, go down, take our shirts off, and swim in his water, and he would just be, like, probably watching us from inside. It was the smartest,
God.
I don't want to say business strategy, but just, like, strategy to get kids to come to him that I ever seen a pedophile, like, employ. We should probably talk about 8chan. This would be a good time. Oh, yeah, it's Infinity Chan. Or Infinite Chan.
So I just heard about it about 3 days ago, maybe 4 days ago. How long has it been around? Is
A
it
year.
new? Is it really?
Mm-hmm. It's a year old.
I feel so out of the loop.
But I think it's just catching on because of everything that's been happening in 4chan.
Yeah,
the whole Gamergate. Speaking of Gamergate.
Yeah, speaking of Gamergate, what happened was the 4chan mods, apparently, I was out of the loop on this until a couple days ago, started heavily moderating on just social principles, the V board for Zoe Quinn related items, and people got pretty upset about that, just because 4chan is supposed to be a congress for free speech and shared ideas and whatnot. So they started migrating to 8chan, and I don't know whose idea that was, but whoever it was, kudos to you, because 8chan's the absolute wangs, which is basically 4chan and Reddit combined without the things that make Reddit bad. Quite awesome. It's 4chan where you can make your own boards.
Yeah,
Kudos to you who haven't.
It's an image board basically where you can create your own subreddit or board.
Yeah.
About 5 days ago is when it started to catch on pretty big.
Mm-hmm. In fact,
and
there's
now,
a Teknik Infinity board.
Yeah.
Infinity board. Yeah, there is. There's also 8chan Plus.
Is it 8chan? I know that's like the address. But wouldn't
It's
it be
8chan.co.
Yeah. But, like, wouldn't it be better to say InfChan?
Well,
I think
8
that's tough to
is
say.
infinity symbol sideways.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they want 8chan kind of goes along with 4chan, but still keeps their logo in it as well.
It's double. So the next iteration is going to be 16chan, followed by eventually 256chan, 1024chan. I think we might have stumbled upon a squared freaking formula for the chance. I just confused myself. I lost my original point.
Right, I think we're just bringing up awareness for 8chan.
Yeah.
Yeah, So
At least
cool.
that's what it looks like it's here in the notes. Speaking of which, also in the notes is the new Teknik upgrade, so we're going to get a little bit closer to home.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll let you talk about that, Uncle B.
Yeah. So now in Teknik, you're able to create your own Git repositories, and then have complete
Ooh.
access and control over who has access to that. On the back end, we're using Gitolite to handle user access and management of the actual Git repositories. But and using that and Git, you're able to create your own, and using the web interface, you're able to view all your commits, all that fun stuff. And then also we have open sourced the actual source code for Teknik, as well as create a development channel with an actual website so you can see exactly what we're working on.
Yeah, it's
That's all
pretty nice.
very interesting. I like using SQLite too. That's my favorite database tool. That's just the one that stores the whole thing in a flat file, right?
SQLite? Yeah, it stores it all in
this
the
is
same.
That's great. I can migrate my Git stuff from Xanthaz's server finally.
I know, right? Get that shit out of there.
So actually, we've discussed this I think on every podcast. I never use that stuff. But for those of you, obviously everybody other than Xanthaz and I who have no clue what we're talking about, 2 years ago, Xanthaz gave me a little slice of his home server as a shell account. And I needed to do something that he didn't have the tools to do. So I wrote a tool for it, pulled down the dependencies and everything, and now that's currently like 75% of his server. Is just the tools to do something that I only need to do once.
Yeah.
But in his autismal fits of rage, he has yet refused to delete it.
Yeah, I don't go into people's home directories and delete their shit. So
Yeah, but when somebody tells you
yeah,
it's good to...
You go do it.
I lost that SSH key. Is anybody else bad at hanging on to those? I'm terrible with GitHub. I have at least 13 SSH keys for my GitHub account.
Jesus!
I have a few, yeah.
I have like Manjaro desktop, Manjaro laptop, Ubuntu, which I don't have anymore. Like freaking, there's a Gentoo one on there, a bunch of unlabeled ones. It's nuts. I'll tell you what the worst thing you can ever do with the Git repository is not know how Git works and believing in F fixing all your problems, because it won't.
Yeah.
It would wipe all of your commits. I lost a year-long project's commit history because I had to fast forward and I effed it. Literally.
Jesus, man.
That's probably why it's called -F. I never realized that. Because it'll straight F you up. The only thing that we haven't discussed is more HAN topics. I just put a lot because I've gotten a bit addicted to it.
It's pretty nice.
It's pretty awesome. I hadn't gone to 4chan for years, but this has got me back into different chans.
I do. Go on.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
I still go on 4chan from my phone, but I don't really go from my browser anymore. Just because. One sec.
Yeah, Xanthaz's kid is acting up.
Yep,
Yeah.
probably throwing shit on the wall.
For some reason, when you said that, I imagined he had like a little baby gorilla. Sorry, my phone or laptop. God damn it, my microphone just like folded up. So I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, it was about a gorilla.
Yeah, this is the shittiest like $16 microphone ever, but it has amazing audio quality.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's better than Xanthas's.
It doesn't sound like I'm talking through a CRT at us. It's
Yeah.
like the goddamn poltergeist.
It's like he's from another dimension trying to talk to us.
He's like a freaking alien sitting on his UFO.
It's my computer. If I get away from it, it sounds better.
Is your computer a nuclear reactor by any chance? Because it shouldn't interfere with it to that extent.
Well, I have
Who's
a loud
fucking-
fan.
He's fucking with the power pad.
Not me.
Mess my groove over here. Oh my god.
Sorry, that's me.
Everything's... Okay, you're good. I mean, you can do it. Just don't delete the thing I was about to talk about, which is Ivy Chan. Did either of you hear me talking about in the G Technology text channel what happened on the P board on 8chan?
No.
Nope.
What happened?
It's the funniest thing ever. So there's a board /P on 8chan that is dedicated to people that enjoy different like piss related topics. And there's one person in there in particular called Ivy Chan that the whole story is long and complicated, but long story short, migrated from 4chan to 8chan, and she was so happy. She surprisingly, she was so happy about the whole 8chan situation that she posted too much on the board and drank piss to the point where she hospitalized herself with like kidney failure.
Jesus.
Yeah. Now it's sticky on the top of /p rather. already starting like that early Chan epic thread stuff.
Well, it's been around for years, so.
Yeah, but it's only barely getting popular.
Yeah.
It's been around for years, the hipster thing to say. It's really been around for 5 days.
Pretty much.
The freaking moderator, too, makes me so happy. Hot Wheels. Oh.
It's a midget or some shit.
He's a midget with brittle bone disease.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I saw a picture of him. Yeah. He's in
It's a documentary.
That's copy-paste, right? That's what he goes by?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he make Tiny Board?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he built 8chan on top of it, which was originally proprietary, but because of the support he got, he made it open source.
Which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like my projects.
Is that really, like, open source wasn't the first thing you wanted to do with it?
Well, it's always been, so like, IRC bot was proprietary for a while, but then I open sourced it. Same with Teknik. It's now open source.
At my urging.
Now,
yeah.
I started programming once I had already accidentally removed Windows and learned about all the Linux stuff and licensing on Linux and everything. Why would a developer want to make their code proprietary? Because it doesn't even click with me that's a thing that somebody would want to do.
The biggest reason is to prevent people from getting their code and distributing it themselves.
I don't see how it's a horrible issue, though, because I just want, if I'm writing something, I just want users, really. And if my problem solves one that somebody else has, I'm okay with people using it.
Well, if you're making software to sell instead of just out of the goodness of your heart, then you really are concerned about others taking your work and then taking away your profit margin.
I think the age of selling desktop software is more or less dead, though. If it's not a game, or if you're not a big company that has like Photoshop or something, yeah, people aren't going to buy stuff for their desktop.
Every company is willing to buy software still.
Yeah, companies, but individuals aren't. I don't know if too many companies would be running IRC bot.
I doubt any of them would.
Imagine freaking like Larry Page at Google teaching your IRC bot how to like teach interns.
All right, listen to Combot now.
Speaking of which, Combot specific thing here. Where does it source its trivia?
Where does it source it?
Yeah.
I found this gigantic list of trivia questions online that I use as its source.
God damn it! You made me lose a bet.
Why?
I said that it sourced it from a trivia API.
No.
That'd be the cool way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so much work that you don't need to do.
Yeah. Instead, I just have it in a static text file.
Some of those answers are crazy. One was, what does SMG stand for? And the answer is, suck my goat.
Yeah, there's a lot of... I think there's something like 20,000 questions in that file.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I've not been able to go through it and check all of them.
I've seen a couple repeated, just because of how popular the trivia function has gotten.
Yeah, so we disabled it in the regular channel, but now it's in an actual /G/trivia channel.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's kind of sad.
That should be in the channel topic.
No one's really using it in the trivia channel anyways.
Yeah, because the main fun of it, I guess, was just annoying the regular people in the channel. Speaking of which, you need to add the toke. What was the thing from?
We are never adding that.
Fuck you, I'm a bot.
God, I hate that bot so much.
He was pretty cool.
He did some cool stuff.
I just didn't like people spamming him, but he was a really cool bot. Like, I really wanted the source code for that bot.
I think Combat still has actions in it to ban on any of those commands being said.
I'm gonna report back. I'm gonna test. No, I don't want to get banned again. I had a weird banning thing earlier that Uncle knows about because I was bitching him about it.
Yeah, I don't think you were banned.
I wasn't banned.
Yeah,
I was messing around with IRC bouncers, but then I just regularly connected to the server through HexChat, and it said I was banned. It was a client thing. But
yeah, it was weird.
Mode plus B on G Technology, so I was like, oh, what'd I do?
What'd you do this time?
I wonder what the person that's gonna ban the most is. Probably JPEX.
No, Exicom.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense, too.
He's probably been given the most chances.
I don't know. I should be probably climbing that pole, right?
We haven't been banned in a while.
That's true. I used to go through streaks, though.
Yeah, a
that
few.
4chan Wolf. Over the summer, that 4chan Wolf banned me for a whole month. For no reason. For burning in Downtown a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
Finally got the retribution from that.
Alright, so yeah, we're basically going to be starting to announce a user of the Fortnight, which we think is the best user in the channel for the past 2 weeks. And,
or the user who provided the best content or
on topic of the 2 weeks.
Basically, he was a benefit to have in the channel.
I would definitely say probably Withheld.
Withheld, I think.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
I like Withheld. He knows what he's talking about. He's pretty clear cut. Like, he doesn't fuck around with like doing stupid shit. You know, like what a lot of people like to do in there. And he's he's knowledgeable.
He's brought a lot to the table.
Yeah,
he's consistently on topic. He's not flamboyant. He's a damn good user. Keep it up, Withheld.
Keep it up, Withheld. Thank you.
His name's actually
until next fortnight. Goodbye.
See y'all.
Good luck.